What if I told you that some of Hollywood's biggest stars wake up every morning looking in the mirror at a stranger? That beneath the red carpets and magazine covers lies a haunting truth about the American dream of eternal youth. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 12 celebrities whose pursuit of perfection became their greatest prison. From a global music icon who lost 100 pounds but couldn't escape her inner demons, to a legendary entertainer who spent millions trying to stop time itself, these are the untold stories of fame's darkest bargain. You think you know these stars? Think again. Adele. The weight of expectations. When Adele disappeared from the spotlight after her 2016 tour, America held its breath. The powerhouse vocalist who had moved millions with songs like Hello and Someone Like You was fighting battles far beyond what any Grammy could heal. Her dramatic 100-pound weight loss shocked the world when she re-emerged in 2020. But behind that stunning transformation lay a story that cuts to the heart of what we demand from our celebrities. This wasn't just about shedding pounds. It was about shedding pain. While fans celebrated her new silhouette on Saturday Night Live, few understood the emotional toll of living under a microscope, where every curve, every outfit, every public appearance becomes ammunition for critics. Adele's journey reflects America's complicated relationship with body image, where we simultaneously preach self-acceptance while scrutinizing every celebrity's appearance. Her transformation became a symbol of resilience, yes, but also of the impossible standards we place on those we claim to love. Nicki Minaj, the costume of success. From queens to queen of rap, Nicki Minaj built an empire on being larger than life. But what happens when the mask becomes so heavy you forget who you were underneath? At 41, the mother of one has spent over a decade crafting an image so bold, so outrageous, that it's consumed the girl from Trinidad who once dreamed of simply making music. Her upcoming HBO documentary promises to reveal the woman behind the wigs and personas. But Minaj's story is really America's story, the immigrant narrative twisted by fame's funhouse mirror. She transformed herself from Onika Mirage into a living cartoon, complete with alter egos and accents. Because in America, authenticity often doesn't sell. The tragedy isn't in her success, it's in the question that haunts every self-made star. When you've reinvented yourself so completely for public consumption, do you remember who you originally were? Wayne Newton, Mr. Las Vegas's last stand for 6 decades. Wayne Newton was the heartbeat of Las Vegas, a city built on illusion and eternal youth. Mr. Las Vegas became synonymous with American entertainment, his voice echoing through casino halls and family living rooms alike. But even legends face the cruelest critic of all: time itself. Recent reports suggest Newton has joined countless celebrities in the battle against aging, seeking procedures to smooth the wrinkles that tell the story of an extraordinary life. There's something deeply American about this fight, our refusal to go gentle into that good night, our belief that with enough money and determination, we can defeat nature itself. Newton's journey from young crooner to aging icon reflects our own national obsession with staying forever young. In a culture that worships youth, growing old becomes an act of rebellion. Yet his talent remains undimmed, reminding us that some things truly are timeless. Mickey Rourke, the boxer who lost himself. Mickey Rourke's face tells a story that Hollywood doesn't want to hear, that sometimes the price of pursuing your dreams destroys the very thing that made you special. Once one of the most handsome leading men of the 1980s, Rourke walked away from a $400 million movie deal to return to boxing, the sport that first shaped him as a young man in Miami. The ring gave him purpose, but it also gave him a shattered face that required extensive reconstruction. What followed were years of surgeries that transformed the pretty boy of 912 weeks into something unrecognizable. Rourke himself admits some procedures were mistakes, performed by surgeons who didn't understand that his face was also his fortune. His comeback in The Wrestler earned him an Oscar nomination, and reminded America why we fell in love with him originally. Rourke's story is a cautionary tale about the cost of authenticity in a business built on beautiful lies. Dolly Parton, the honest entrepreneur. "It costs a lot of money to look this cheap," Dolly Parton once quipped. And in that joke lies the most honest conversation about cosmetic surgery in Hollywood history. Unlike stars who hide behind denials and good genes, Parton has turned her transparency into a superpower, owning every nip, tuck, and enhancement with the same confidence she brings to her music. Born into poverty in the Tennessee mountains, Parton understood early that image was currency in America. Her decision to augment and alter wasn't born from insecurity, but from business savvy. She was building a brand before anyone called it that. Her openness about facelifts, breast augmentation, and Botox has given permission to millions of women to make their own choices without shame. At 77, Parton remains a force of nature, proving that authenticity isn't about being natural. It's about being honest about your choices. She's America's sweetheart precisely because she's never pretended to be anything other than a self-made woman. Jedlica. The human Ken doll's search for perfection. At just 18 years old, Jedlica began a transformation so extreme it defies comprehension. Over 700 surgeries to become a living Ken doll. His journey into the surgical spotlight represents America's most troubling beauty obsession taken to its logical extreme, where the pursuit of physical perfection becomes a full-time occupation. What drives someone to spend their entire adult life under the knife? Jedlica's story isn't just about vanity, it's about identity, control, and the American belief that we can remake ourselves into anything we choose. Each procedure wasn't just changing his nose or jaw, it was an attempt to sculpt the person he believed he was meant to be. His appearances on shows like Botched turned personal transformation into entertainment, but behind the cameras lies a more complex truth. In a country that promises reinvention, Jedlica took the promise literally, becoming both inspiration and warning about how far the pursuit of perfection can go. Courtney Love. Surviving the spotlight's cruelest glare. Courtney Love emerged from the Seattle grunge scene as rock's most dangerous woman. Kurt Cobain's widow, Hole's fierce frontwoman, and Hollywood's most unpredictable actress. But when the music stopped and the cameras moved on, she faced the entertainment industry's harshest judgment: irrelevance. Her recent admissions about cosmetic procedures reflect a deeper truth about women in entertainment. While male rockers age into distinguished elder statesmen, women face pressure to freeze time or fade away. Love's choices, rhinoplasty, anti-aging treatments, and more, weren't just about vanity, they were about survival in an industry that discards women the moment they show signs of aging. At 59, Love maintains over 1 million Instagram followers who still connect with her raw authenticity. Her journey reminds us that behind every celebrity's transformation lies a human being fighting to remain relevant in a culture obsessed with youth. Britney Spears, the pop princess's survival story. Britney Spears didn't just survive the entertainment industry's machine, she was nearly destroyed by it. From her debut at 16 to her conservatorship battle, every aspect of her life has been public property, including her appearance. Her openness about minor cosmetic procedures like lip injections reflects a hard-won autonomy after years of having others control her body and choices. What makes Spears' story uniquely American is how it exposes our cultural cannibalism. We build up young stars only to tear them down when they dare to be human. Her transformation from teen pop icon to a woman reclaiming her narrative represents millions of Americans who've struggled with body image under public scrutiny. Her emphasis on skincare, exercise, and healthy living over major surgical interventions sends a powerful message about self-care versus self-destruction. In a culture that often equates a woman's worth with her appearance, Spears' journey toward self-acceptance becomes an act of rebellion. Val Kilmer. The fighter's quiet courage. When throat cancer stole Val Kilmer's voice, it took away the very instrument that made him a star. The actor who embodied American masculinity in Top Gun and Tombstone faced a battle that no amount of Hollywood magic could fix. His transformation from leading man to cancer survivor illustrates the fragility beneath our cultural obsession with strength and invincibility. Kilmer's decision to share his story, including the physical changes from his treatment, challenges how we view celebrity and vulnerability. In a culture that worships youth and perfection, his scarred throat and altered speech patterns tell a different story, one of survival, adaptation, and quiet heroism. His return in Top Gun Maverick wasn't just nostalgia, it was proof that some transformations happen not by choice, but by necessity, and that real strength lies not in maintaining an image, but in adapting when life forces change upon us. Lindsay Lohan, The Price of Growing Up in Public. Lindsay Lohan's transformation from Disney darling to tabloid target represents America's most toxic export, the child star pipeline. Her journey through addiction, legal troubles, and public scrutiny wasn't unique. It's the predictable result of a system that commodifies childhood innocence and then punishes its loss. What's remarkable isn't that Lohan struggled, it's that she survived. Her recent return to acting and apparent sobriety represents something rare in Hollywood, a redemption story without a tragic ending. Her physical transformation over the years reflected internal battles that played out in real time. Each change documented and dissected by a media machine that profited from her pain. Lohan's story forces uncomfortable questions about our entertainment culture. How much suffering are we willing to accept for our amusement? Her emergence as a healthier, more grounded woman reminds us that behind every celebrity transformation is a human being seeking peace. John Travolta, Grace Under Pressure. When John Travolta's famous locks began to thin, America watched one of its most beloved leading men face the universal truth that time spares no one. His decision to eventually embrace baldness wasn't just about hair, it was about accepting change with dignity in a culture that equates aging with failure. Travolta's transformation accelerated after the devastating loss of his wife Kelly Preston in 2020. Grief changes people in ways visible and invisible, and his journey through loss while maintaining his career and raising his children alone represents a different kind of strength than Hollywood typically celebrates. His return in Top Gun Maverick proved that sometimes the most powerful transformation isn't physical, but emotional. Travolta's ability to channel personal pain into professional triumph reminds us that the most meaningful changes happen not in mirrors, but in hearts. Jennifer Aniston, The Art of Aging Gracefully. Jennifer Aniston has mastered something rare in Hollywood, the ability to age visibly while remaining eternally appealing. Her admitted use of Botox and non-invasive procedures represents a middle path between denial and excess, acknowledging the work while avoiding the trap of chasing youth at any cost. What makes Aniston's approach distinctly American is her business-like honesty about the maintenance required to remain a leading lady past 50. She's neither apologetic about her choices nor evangelical about them. She's simply practical about the realities of working in an industry that remains stubbornly ageist toward women. Her sustained relevance proves that the most successful transformations aren't about stopping time, but about aging strategically. In a culture obsessed with the fountain of youth, Aniston offers something more valuable, a blueprint for growing older without growing invisible. These 12 stories share a common thread that runs through the heart of American culture, the belief that we can reinvent ourselves, that transformation is always possible, that with enough effort and money, we can become anything we choose. It's the same impulse that built this nation, the conviction that tomorrow can be better than today if we're willing to work for it. But these celebrity transformations also reveal the shadow side of that dream. When the pursuit of perfection becomes more important than the pursuit of happiness, when the image matters more than the person beneath it, when the cost of change exceeds its value, that's when the American dream becomes an American nightmare. Perhaps the most important lesson from these stories isn't about the surgeries, the procedures, or the transformations themselves. It's about the courage to be vulnerable, to age, to change, and sometimes to simply be human in a culture that often demands we be superhuman. In the end, the most powerful transformation might be learning to love ourselves as we are. What did you think of these celebrity transformation stories? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the headlines.